LG, want to start with a really kind of a bit of an oddball question. We heard from CJ Mosley of the Jets last week. We heard from Shaq Leonard of the Colts this week. And I'm going to paraphrase here, but basically, they both talked about being able to read the Patriots' plays before they happened, and they were able to kind of sniff stuff out and figure out what New England was doing on offense. Now, how much of that, in your experience, is just two really good Pro Bowl level linebackers putting in extra film study, and how much of that maybe is symptomatic of a bigger issue with the Patriots offense as a whole?
I mean, I think that is just too. Listen to who said it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about two of the best guys that are playing the game right now. So I mean, listen to who said it. I don't. I do think that at sometimes Matty P can be predictable, but it's because he's not and usually in that role. It's a different role for him. You know what I'm saying? And Bill entrusted him like with that position, so he's doing the best that he can. It's not that he's doing it on purpose. He's doing the best that he can. But yeah, he can be a little predictable sometimes, and it's not really what play they're running. It's just more so we're predicting the run rather than the pass. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's not really like, oh, we can predict that they're running to the left, or we can predict that they're is. So I mean, I mean, it is some certain things that give that away, like an overload to a side or something like that. But I think they're more so talking about like we can predict that if it's a pass or a run. Like for instance, we get these papers that give us the percentages and all that good thing, and it'll be like, oh well, 82% of the time on 1st and 10, the Jets blitz, and that would that's one of the things that studying film and looking at your notes and things like that, gives you an advantage. But I mean, these are two really, really good linebackers we're talking about.
How much of that do you figure is going to be addressed during the bye week? Because obviously, look, bye week, it's a chance to do some self-scouting. It's a chance to kind of look back a little bit and then look ahead to the second half of the season. But what's that conversation going to be like in the offensive rooms amongst the coaches when you do hear something like that?
I mean, that amongst the coaches, that's going to have to be. I mean, that's going to definitely have to be addressed. That's not something that you can take lightly because this is a professional sport. So, I mean, your every move, anything that they can dissect to get the advantage, they're going to dissect. You know what I'm saying? That's what make the Patriots so good. That's what make Bill so great. That's why having Ernie in the background is a huge advantage because, I mean, we're talking about a guy that has photographic memory here. So. You have an advantage, in ways like that. So, I mean, it just goes that far. I don't think that. Again, I don't think that it can solely the blame could be placed on Matty P. Again, he's put in a position that I'm pretty sure he's never been in his entire career. Calling the offense, that's probably as uncomfortable as you can be at this, you know what I'm saying? At this point, being that you all did all defensive things throughout your career. But as a coaching staff, they got to address it, and they would just have to feel like, hey man, we're gonna have to switch it up here. Maybe you and Joe Judge, do something together. Maybe we look in this direction. We got to find an answer to make it so that we can't be that predictable. Because we're talking about two of the best linebackers in the game. So, the younger guys are going to listen to them. I mean, you got your rookie guys are probably looking at these interviews. That's how you become great. You look at greatness. I know guys used to look at Ray Lewis and things like that. So you got to find a different way to manage your offense and get it going. And I don't know if that's putting somebody else into the play calling duties, or I don't know if maybe Bill takes over. Who knows what that is, but it's definitely something that has to be addressed 100%.
Have you ever been a part of an offense where you knew that the guys on the other side of the ball, they knew what was coming?
Yeah, I have been. I definitely have been. But I feel like just generically for me, just because I'm in the game, everybody's gonna always assume that it's gonna be run no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely am I gonna be in there and 3rd and 5, or rarely, if you know what I'm saying, like it's tendencies, right? So even if the coaches don't mean to display this, these are just dead giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
They know that whenever we come in this formation, 60% of the time we're gonna tote the pill if it's LeGarrette. 20% of the time we're gonna tote the pill if it's James.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've been a part of that, but I've also been a part of someone that knew how to use that to their advantage. Josh, um, Todd Haley at points.
Mm-hmm.
The list goes on. These guys are smart. They know how to use that to their advantage. Okay, you know that we're going to do this, and that's a part of game planning.
Mm-hmm.
That's game planning. That's what game planning becomes a big part of it. Okay, these guys know that if you know that you're going to go against a defense that's going to be ranked, top 3 in every category. Okay, well then you can't do what you do every game because they're going to adjust to it. So you got to adjust. You got to figure out a way to attack whatever you feel like, whatever you think that they're going to show you. I think that's one. I think that's really the biggest part.
How does that play out on the field? Is there a guy on the other side of the ball who says, "Look, I know what's coming, and I'm coming for you"?
Oh yeah. Luke Kuechly.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of them. I've played against Ray. He's one of them. I've definitely been in a play where I was running outside zone and Ray came screaming through the one little gap that anybody could get to. Like if there's one flaw in every play,
Mm-hmm.
and he found that one little space and came flying by. And I did like a little hop juke, whatever, and I made a miss and got upfield. But again, those are great linebackers. You know what I'm saying? Those are guys that are, those guys. So, but I mean, it's always going to be. It'll usually be a linebacker. Not really no safeties or nothing like that. But yeah. I mean, the Kuechlys and the Ray Lewises and the Levante Davids, the guys like that, they can definitely diagnose the plays ahead of time.
So it's a weird question. I'm going to kind of turn it on its head a little bit. Did Mosley and Leonard screw up a little bit by saying, yeah, look, I know what's coming? Should they have basically just kind of kept it to themselves so the next time they face the Patriots aren't necessarily looking to try to confuse C.J. Mosley? I mean, it's like a card game a little bit. You don't want to kind of tip your hand.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the only card game I play is spades and tongue. So, but nah. Again, man, if you're a good linebacker, that can turn around and bite you in the butt. But if you're a good linebacker, you're a good linebacker. You're gonna still be able to go out there and perform and play your game if you continue to watch them. Because it's not like anybody can go change an entire playbook. Mm-hmm. Eventually, these tendencies are going to show. Whether you start out a little different, move a little different in the second half, whatever. But these tendencies are going to tend to show because that's how you play the game. That's your what do I call it? That's your I guess your personality, your team's, whatever it is.
Yeah, your identity.
That's their identity. Yep. Eventually that identity is going to show. Game planning can only take you so far, and then it's like, hey, if the game plan working, we're gonna rock with the game plan. If it's not, we're gonna revert back to what we do. So that's.
So even if these guys know what's coming, even if you're facing a Leonard, a C.J. Mosley, a Luke Kuechly, Ray Lewis, whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, it comes down to execution. It sounds like that's what you're saying.
You're breaking up a little bit. My bad, Chris.
At the end of the day, it comes down to execution.
Right, 100%. 100%. It's do your job, and whoever gonna do their job the best, that's what's gonna win. No matter, but I again, man, it still gives the defense just that much of an advantage, just that much, because we know who we're gonna block. They know who they're gonna block. But whenever they see just a subtle something that shows them, oh, they running this, they get to take off and go make the play. You know what I'm saying? the line might not be able to get the double team as long, or it might be, it's things like that is what make the play. You know what I'm saying? That's what make those guys like that really good. You know what I'm saying? Just that little advantage.
I'm glad you brought up Ernie before, because we know that even though he is not necessarily around the team on a day-to-day basis, Bill has had him in the past to talk a little bit about, what things need to be cleaned up, kind of leaned on him a little bit as an advisor. I imagine that Bill is going to have him in this week to kind of look back at the first half of the year. And I'm fascinated by what the bye week really looks like for you guys. And I imagine that Ernie might play a role in the bye week when it comes to assessing the way this team has played over the first half of the year.
Oh yeah. So I only caught half of that. I don't know if it's me or if it's you. I'm breaking up a little bit, but I caught the part where he said, how does the bye week go? Right?
Yeah. For a player, give me an idea of how the bye week goes.
Yeah. So I mean, if so, boom, you play on Sunday, and then obviously the bye week, whatever Monday, we go look at the Monday is the same. You typically don't get that Tuesday off.
Mm-hmm.
You go in that Tuesday, you go in that Wednesday, and then obviously you got the option to go in whenever you want to, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But you definitely going in, and we're practicing. Like it's not like a bye week. It's like a bye couple days. Like it ain't a bye week, because we're still going in and watching film. We're still going in and lifting. We're definitely still practicing. And we're probably looking at, we're 100% looking at whoever we're going to not play this week, but whoever we're going to play that next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're doing that. So it's not really a bye week, because Monday through Thursday, you're still doing the regular get treatment, lifting, running, working out, practicing. You're still doing all those things. You just get that like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, which would be, I guess, a normal job.
I know I've been in the locker room with you guys on a Wednesday before a bye week, and it feels a little bit like the last day before school vacation, because guys are always looking to get out of there. And I understand that completely. And I understand guys want to unplug and they want to get away for a little bit. But is there a fine line that you guys have to walk when it comes to unplugging for a little bit, but not getting too far removed from the game?
Oh yeah, 100%. You definitely can't. Again, like I said, Bill gonna make sure that the new film is the film for the next team that we're playing is loaded up on the iPads. He's definitely gonna ask you questions about them whenever you come back on Monday. And oh my gosh, don't be the guy that don't know the answers, especially to something basic like, oh well, who is the defensive coordinator, or who is the head coach, or something like that. Like, that's not good at all. It is not good at all. But yeah, you gotta stay attached to the game fully. For me, typically I'm gonna watch film. I'm gonna hydrate. I'm gonna definitely get me a good cheat meal in. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm gonna watch football on Sunday. I'm gonna definitely watch football on Sunday. And I'm gonna definitely watch whoever it is that we're playing if they're not on the bye. Like, and I'm gonna have my pad ready and everything. So whenever I get in the meeting, whenever Bill got something to ask me, I'm gonna have it right down my notes. If they're in what percentage do they have? What percentage are they in the odd front and third down? He's gonna look around. LG. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have it right here. Yeah, I got you. 34% of the time. I got you.
What are those tests like from Bill? What are those? What you get those? Do you get those at the start of the week? What's the explain to me how that process goes when it comes to Bill giving you an exam on the upcoming opponent?
So it's a team thing. Like, we do it. So he does it in a team meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is not he does it in a team meeting. It's not like a paper test. Mm-hmm. So you get the paper test from Ivan. Ivan to give a chart. We get it Saturday night at the Saturday night meeting, and we got to turn it in, or we get it Friday. We got to turn it in Saturday.
Mm-hmm. So you figure out, and there are questions like, how often are they running the ball on first and 10?
Or sometimes we'll get it. Sometimes we'll get it on Saturday, and then have to give it to them at the meeting that night.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, how often do they run on first down? Who's the leading tackle? Who's the defensive coordinator?
Well, for us, it's just a normal running. It's just a normal running back test. So it'll be who's the starting linebacker. If such and such get hurt, who comes in?
Mm-hmm.
Does this guy move that outside, or does he move back to the inside? What percentage do the guys break out on outside zone?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the corner that we're going to attack all week? Who's the corner we're going to attack all game because he's not a good tackler?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Whenever this guy blitz, does he bull rush or does he swim move or does he rip?
Mm-hmm. And
that's our test.
If you don't get those right, or if you say only get 5 out of 10, what happens?
Oh, I'm gonna be on your ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be on you. He ain't with that. You got to get that right because we've been studying it all week.
Are you gonna give me any names about guys who would not do well on those tests, or no? Gonna put you on the spot here.
We shall remain nameless.
Gotcha. Understood. Understood. Well, in that case, I'm going to change gears here a little bit. I put out a few questions on Twitter earlier in the week about, who's your team MVP, who's your team rookie of the year, that kind of stuff. And I want to get your take on this. I want you to finish these sentences for me here, and I'll chime in here as well. Compared to the level of expectation that you had for this team at the start of the year, their 5-4 record at the bye is fill in the blank.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Compared to the level of expectation you had for this team at the start of the regular season, the 5-4 record at the bye is.
Their 5-4 record at the bye is average. I would expect them. Again, they're going through some ups and downs, and they lost some guys, so I would expect them to be around 5-4. I think
the one
I still
area
think they're gonna win 10 games though.
Yeah, I would have had them for 6-3 because of the Chicago game. So I think it's a little bit of a disappointment when you consider the Chicago game, but 6-3, I would have had them at 6-3 at this point.
Yeah, they dropped one to Chicago. Chicago got one. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But again, these are not the same Patriots that everyone is used to and that are accustomed to. So we got to understand that we're still rebuilding. We still got young quarterbacks. We still got young players. We don't have a real quote unquote offense coordinator, and that's not a knock against Matty P. It's just not his forte. That's not him. So they're still rebuilding, and I still think they're going to win 10 games. I still do.
Your team MVP through 9 games is
Matthew Judon.
Okay. Tell me why.
Judon balling, man. He's snapping.
Having a great year.
He's having a hell of a year. He's one of the better players in the NFL right now.
I had 3 guys on that list for people to choose from: Judon, Ramondre, and Nick Folk.
Oh yeah, hey, yeah, hey. He don't get a lot of credit, bro. Nah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Those 3, but I think that Judon,
but Ramondre definitely in that conversation.
Yeah.
I think he might have like 620 yards. He might hit 1,000 this year.
He might hit 1,000. And here's something for you as a running back. Bill has never had a guy go for 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons. So Ramondre,
how many did he have last year?
He did. He fell short. He didn't hit 1,000. But this could be, if he hits 1,000 and hits 1,000 next year, it's going to be a challenge. But I think he might be capable of doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's definitely capable of doing it. I say let him take on that role, man. I say just let him take over. And I like Damian. I think Damian is a hell of a player. But I say you just go ahead and let Ramondre just take over as the lead back and let him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him take the pill and let Damian Harris be the Dion. Let him be the Dion. It's okay.
All right, your team rookie of the year through 9 games. Who's your rookie of the year on this roster through 9 games?
Ooh.
I'll give you some names. I'll give you 4 names. Bailey Zappi, Jack
No,
Jones, Cole Strange, or Marcus Jones.
no, I see. I'm a Zappy fan, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my guy. I think it deserves a chance. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and every time I say this, and anytime it goes public, everyone always says, "Oh, stop hating on Mac Jones, man. Leave Mac Jones alone. F you don't know Mac Jones." There, I'm like, bro, it's not a knock against him. I like the kid. I really do. Like, I think he's gonna be a hell of a football player. I really do. But right now, if we want to continue to win games, the team responds better to Bailey. They do. Like, everybody always want to ride the hot hand when the running back room. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Yep.
it's Deion. Deion got 16 carries for 80 yards. They gonna say get a ball to Deion. I'm gonna say get a ball to Deion. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm just saying, let the kids shine. Who knows? Who knows?
How many wins we looking at? You're still at 10? You said 10?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna win 5 more games.
Is that going to be enough to get them in the postseason?
Yes.
So you get one of those wild cards.
I think they're gonna beat the Jets. I think they're gonna beat the Jets again.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 2 teams that's gonna really give them problems is gonna be the Vikings and who was Green Bay?
No, they got 2 with
Not
the
Green
Bills
Bay.
left. They got 2 with the Bills left.
The Bills.
Yeah.
The Vikings and the Bills. The
Yeah.
Vikings and the Bills. Those are the only 2 teams that are gonna give them problems.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna blow everybody out. I'm just saying those teams are gonna give them problems, and it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot more realistic for them to beat the other guys versus those 2.
Mm-hmm. All right, I want to finish up with one more question here before we head into the bye week. Frank Reich lost his job this week, head coach of the Colts. You were on a roster with him when he was the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia.
Right.
Guy who's known to have a really great offensive mind.
Right.
The Patriots need an offensive coordinator. You played for Bill. Could that marriage work?
Hell yeah, that marriage could work. I think it could. I definitely think it could. I like Frank, man. I think Frank can and just because Frank don't with the Eagles, he didn't run the ball like the conventional way we ran the ball out of the shotgun and things like that. Remind you that he had his back had the most rushing yards in the league last year.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs the football, and that's what Bill wants to do. And so he got a Ramondre. I mean, how does that not work? You know what I'm saying? I think Bill should definitely test the waters with that, and if Frank is open to going over there and just checking it out and see how he likes it, I mean, that's a marriage that could really work. And Matt is Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying I ain't, you understand what I'm not saying. He like Nick Foles take you to the Super Bowl, but I mean, like they got the same kind of playing style, like as far as throwing the ball, as far as scrambling ability, like they similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and again, man, you got my guy Bailey over there too. So
figure also too, the other thing is Josh is struggling in Las Vegas.
He is.
And they need an offense. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but you start to look at things that are, begin to develop across the National Football League, and it makes you wonder a little bit.
Yeah. And on top of that, I think the reason that Josh doesn't go back is because this is only his first year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to obviously give him a couple more years under his belt. But Frank is going to be looking for a job immediately, and again, I think Bill should open his eyes to that. That would be a good marriage, man. I'm telling you, I think that would work.
I like it. I like it. Well, as usual, LG, you've given us a lot to think about, my friend. We are off for the weekend. I'm going on a family trip to upstate New York to kind of, enjoy the bye week. You doing anything fun?
Man, we're in Vegas this weekend. The boys got regionals, so we got We go to Vegas on Friday. The boys play their first regional game on Saturday. If they win that, they play one on Sunday, and it's off to nationals.
Very nice. Well, best of luck to you and your guys, man. Take
I
care,
appreciate
and
it, man.
we'll talk again. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go Gators.